9 experienced hikers vanished in the Ural Mountains. The hikers ran into the freezing night, barefoot and barely dressed. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident.
In 1959, 9 experienced hikers walked into the Ural Mountains. None of them ever walked out. Weeks later, search teams made a chilling discovery. They found the hikers' tent, still standing, still full of supplies, but it had been sliced open from the inside. The hikers had fled, some barefoot, into -30-degree temperatures. What investigators found scattered across that mountain would become one of the most disturbing unsolved mysteries in history. This was not an amateur group. These were highly trained university students and seasoned mountaineers. They had prepared for months, testing their equipment and studying the route. They understood the dangers of a winter expedition. Their leader, Igor Dyatlov, was known for being calm, organized, and respected. The group documented everything. Photos from their journey show laughter, confidence, and absolutely no sign of fear. In January of 1959, the expedition began moving deeper into the northern Ural Mountains. Snowstorms slowed their progress, but their morale remained high. They joked during rest stops and sang while crossing frozen valleys. But the deeper they traveled, the harsher the environment became. Visibility dropped to near zero, the winds intensified, and temperatures fell to dangerously low levels. Still, the group pushed forward. On February 1st, they reached a barren mountain slope. The local Mansi people called this place Kholat Sayakol, a name that translates to Mountain of the Dead. The hikers pitched their tent directly on the exposed hillside, possibly to avoid avalanches in the nearby valleys. It would be their final campsite. Sometime after midnight, something went horribly wrong. Investigators later confirmed the tent had been cut open from the inside. The hikers fled into the darkness. There were no signs of a struggle, no signs of panic. Only footprints leading away from the tent. Some were barefoot, others were wearing only their underwear. All of them were moving downhill, not running, not in a chaotic scramble. They were simply walking away. When the group failed to return, search teams were sent out. Weeks later, rescuers finally reached the campsite. The tent was still standing, partially buried in snow. Inside, they found coats, boots, food, journals, and cameras. Everything the hikers needed to survive had been left behind. The footprints led investigators down toward a forest below. There, beneath a large cedar tree, the first 2 bodies were found. They were wearing almost no clothing. Above them, branches were broken high up in the tree, as if someone had climbed upward in desperation. Below the tree, rescuers found the remains of a small fire. The hikers had tried to survive the night, but the relentless cold did not allow it. Over the following weeks, more bodies were discovered. Some appeared to have been trying to return to the tent. Others were found months later, buried beneath deep snow. The injuries found on these bodies shocked the investigators. One victim had a crushed skull. Another had suffered massive chest trauma. Medical examiners compared the force of the blows to being hit by a car, yet there were almost no external wounds. One woman was found missing her tongue. The strange details didn't stop there. Clothing taken from some of the victims showed traces of radiation. Some of the bodies had a strange, orange-brown skin discoloration. Witnesses in the area later reported seeing glowing orange spheres in the sky on that very same night. Even the most experienced investigators could not explain these bizarre findings, and many of the case documents were quickly sealed and classified. So what happened on that mountain? Some believe a sudden avalanche forced the hikers out of their tent, but the physical evidence for a major avalanche is limited. Others suspect secret Soviet military testing, perhaps explosives or experimental weapons gone wrong. But no official confirmation was ever released. Another theory suggests infrasound low frequency, wind vibrations that can cause feelings of intense panic, or even hallucinations. Every explanation seems to answer one part of the mystery, but none of them can explain everything. Decades later, the case was reopened. Modern computer simulations suggested that small, localized slab avalanches were possible on that slope. But the questions remained. Why would experienced hikers leave all their protective gear behind? Why were their injuries so inconsistent with typical avalanche trauma? And why do the footprints show they left the tent calmly? Perhaps the most disturbing mystery isn't how they died, but why they willingly left their only source of safety. 9 intelligent, experienced hikers walked out into certain death. Something forced them out, or something frightened them so much that they believed staying inside was even worse. Today, the mountain pass bears Igor Dyalov's name. Climbers still visit the area, and investigators continue to study the evidence. But the mountain remains silent. Many believe the truth disappeared with the storm that night. The Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the most compelling and perplexing unsolved cases of all time. Whatever happened, the mountain never changed its story.